Hello there, everyone! You will never be able to guess what I did this weekend. Well, actually, you might if you follow me on social media. But if you don't, I repeat, you will never guess what I did this weekend. I went to a convention. Specifically, Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario. Because I live like 15 minutes away from the Ontario Convention Center, so why would I not go? I had a really great time, I enjoyed myself, and I bought a lot of books. So now I'm going to review the convention, or rather, review it. I put the quotations because how do you review a convention? I didn't do everything. I didn't go everywhere, so it's not a full review. It's just going to be talking about my experiences. If anything, this is more of a vlog than a review. But technically, I think to be a vlog, it had to be at the moment, like that day, not afterwards. I mean, it could be a what's the word? Post something vlog. But I'm just gonna call this a review because, like, I don't know. I like the word review. It makes me feel important. I'm reviewing the convention. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over, like, I'm gonna talk about the books I bought. I have them all right here, and I'm gonna try to sell them to you. And I'm probably gonna fail at selling them to you, because I mean I haven't had a chance to read all of them. I barely even started touching them. Well, I mean, reading through them, not touching them because I was holding them. But you know what I mean. The point I'm getting at here is I'm gonna go through the books or like explain what they're about and see if I can't sell them to the audience. And I will also have links to social media and websites for all of these things so that you can check them out yourself if you are interested. And if I just pique your curiosity even a little bit, I'm sure that the actual people will do a much better job of explaining their books than I have on their social media and websites and stuff. So let's get started. First here I have, what is this? This is Agent Wilde and Reaper Core. And you won't be able to read any of this because my camera has a glare because I'm not using like a fancy camera. This is, I mean, I'm not going to say it was cheap. It was a gift. Not for me, actually. It was a gift for my mother, but that's a different story. So, Reaper Core and Agent Wilde. And these are by Dork Empire Inc. And the author is, let me see who that is real quick because I'm not remembering. It is Don Walker. Okay. I got these things signed and I'm not even remembering who it is. But I can't really read the signature, so that's not entirely my fault. But anyway, so these two books, they're both by the same company and the same writer. And they're actually set in the same universe. They're not connected to each other. They're each individual stories. But they are set in the same universe. One of them is in the future, and the other one is in a futuristic, but not future, present. It's a futuristic present. Like, it's present day, but it's futuristic. And the other one's just straight up future. So, I forget which is which, but, like, yeah, just looking at the covers, you can see, like, all that fancy weaponry and stuff. And again, you probably can't see because glares and stuff. I'll see if I can fix that up in editing. Probably not, because I don't know how to edit. But, so, I got both of these for $5, and that's a pretty good price, considering one of them is $4, and the other one's $3, so I saved $2. I did a lot of saving this, convention. Cons are the place to go for book deals, people. You save a lot of money, and you get them signed by the creators. So if you don't like the book, you can sell it on eBay for twice the price. Don't actually do that. That's actually kind of disrespectful to the people. But anyway, so that's what these books are. I don't actually remember the synopsis for them, but it looks interesting. Interesting covers, interesting, like, premise, I guess. Well, not premise, because I didn't give you a premise. Moving on to something I do know. And something I do know here is Tinseltown by David Lucarelli. Now, this book, actually, I knew about it before the convention because, well, I'll tell you the because right now in a moment, but this book, the premise of it is it's about this woman here, and she's a police officer. Police officer in the early days of Hollywood. And so it's like, it's an interesting story because it's about her being a police officer in a time where women police officers wasn't really a thing that much, and sort of just like what she has to go through to go and do this, because like it's something she's wanted to do for time now. And so it's really interesting. This is issue 1 in a 5-issue limited series, so I'm probably not gonna pick up the other issues until they put it in paperback. I don't even know if they will put it in paperback or not, but I'm gonna assume they will, so if they do, I'll pick that up because I just love paperback. And in the event where they don't have a paperback, I'll just get the individual issues, because I do like this story. I've actually read through this thing already. I might review it at some point, because it is pretty good. Maybe when issue 2 comes out, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, really good story, and like I said, I already knew about this going in, because I have a history with the author here, David Lucarelli, and that is from these books here. The Children's Vampire Hunting Brigade. Now, I didn't actually pick these up at the convention yesterday. I've actually had these for a while now. I got them at a previous convention where I met the author, David Lucarelli, and talked to him. He's a really cool guy. And so these stories here, to briefly tell you on it, the Children's Vampire Hunting Brigade, It's based on a real life event in Scotland in 1954. And so in 1954 Scotland, there was an event of mass hysteria where a bunch of children got out of their beds in the middle of the night and went to a Scotland cemetery to kill vampires because they believed there were vampires in that cemetery, and if they did not kill them, then the vampires would hurt their family and loved ones. And so it was classified as an event of mass hysteria because, I mean, you know, like, these kids are... It wasn't just like a small thing. It wasn't like, oh, this little thing that spread in the courtroom or the courtyard and like a bunch of kids found out about it. No, it was like, it was huge. It was an entire, like, I don't know if it was a block or more, but it was huge. It was a really huge thing. And so it was labeled as an event of mass hysteria, and when people were trying to figure out why did these kids do this, what was blamed was entertainment and comic books, you know, Tales from the Crypt, stuff like that. They said it was poisoning the minds of children, you know, the standard thing whenever they want to blame entertainment for the world's problems. So that was a real event. And this book is sort of inspired by that. It says, what if in Scotland, 1954... Am I getting that year right? Yes, I am. 1954, nice. So what if in Scotland, 1954, there actually was a vampire, and some of the kids found the vampire and killed it? Those kids would later go on to form the Children's Vampire Hunting Brigade. And so the story in this book is about these two guys here on the cover. Again, you probably can't see because glare. These two guys, and it's in modern times now, and they find out about the Children's Vampire Hunting Brigade, and so it's now kind of up to them to go and stop vampires and stuff. And so it's really interesting. Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 3 is on Kickstarter. I think the Kickstarter just closed not too long ago, but I did back Volume 3 on Kickstarter because I love this story, I love these characters, I love the world. The art of this story, it is in black and white. So originally, that was kind of a deal breaker for me, because I don't like black and white. I just can't, like, it doesn't connect to me the same way as colored stories do, but I decided to look past that, and it was really good. I really loved it. So that's just that. Moving back to stuff I actually did buy at the convention, we have Boston Metaphysical Society by Holly Rosen, who Kylie Kamputra Aldbridge Peteri. Is this one name or is this a bunch of people? This is by Holly. And there are like a bunch of names. I don't know where it is. Like, the camera is reversed, so I don't know what I'm showing. And again, there is that glare. But anyways, this book here, the main selling point for me personally for this book was the art. Because I'm going to try my best to show this with the glare. If you look at this, the art in this book is just amazingly beautiful. I hope I'm capturing that well. Well enough, at least. Like, the art in this book is just gorgeously stunning. Like, I just really love the way the art style. I love the way it's drawn and stuff. And so, the premise of this book is, there's this, like, entity. I forget what it's called, but I'm just going to call it the entity because I don't remember well. There's this entity, and it feeds off of sort of, like, negativity in society. And so, these really smart people, it's Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, and two other people I can't remember right now, but they're also really smart people. They get together to try and stop the entity, but they're unable to. And so since they're unable to, they go to help from this guy on the cover with the scar on his face. And the reason they go to him for help is because he's a former detective, and he actually has a history with the entity. It killed his wife, so he's out for revenge, and he works together with these other two people on the cover. They're his team. And so it's them three together with the four smart guys who I can't remember, trying to stop this thing. And again, like I said, the story, the reason I don't remember the story that well is because while the story was interesting, that was not the selling point for me. For me, it was the art. I am in love with the art in this book. So I would give this a recommendation on the art alone. I don't know about the story. It sounds interesting. I'll have to give it a read and find out. Next, we move on to a water break, because I live in California and it's hot here, and I'm in all of this. So next we have Hero Hotel, and this is by Fan-Base Press. The next three books are all Fan-Base Press. And so Hero Hotel here, it's a comedic book, and it's the story of a hotel staff who are a hotel for superheroes. And in this book, we find out that superheroes are some of the worst people to work for in a hotel. I think that sentence is made. Superheroes are terrible hotel guests. That's what I'm trying to get at here. So we find that out, and it's a comedic story about, like, what superheroes demand when they're on vacation. And the art style is, like, you know, it's simplistic, but again, this is a comedy book. So it's, like, you know, it's just a little humorous thing. It's a little bit of humor, it's fun, it's just entertaining. And then another thing I love about this is, they have fake ads. Like, see, here's an ad for Hopefully you can see it with the glare. If not, that's an ad for Thunder Woman. You know, a play off of Wonder Woman. So that's really, really nice, really creative. And it's just a little lighthearted, humorous book, humorous art style. And you know, if you've ever wondered what are superheroes like on vacation, this is what they're like on vacation. Next, by Fanbase Press, we have Gwencest. Not pronounced Quince, Gwencest. And so, there's a description on the back, so I'm gonna cheat and pretend I know what I'm talking about. Gwencest follows a year in the life of Lupe, a 15-year-old girl who discovers that her quinceañera brings with it a super cool party and superpowers. Her Gwencest powers only last as long as she's 15, so over the course of this roller coaster year, we follow the adventures of Lupe as she figures out what it really means to be a hero. So, this book stood out to me because of one main reason. Being Mexican, I know what a quinceañera is, and I've been to several quinceañeras from friends, family members, etc. And I've participated in quinceañeras. And if there's one trend in a quinceañera, it's nothing ever goes right. No matter how meticulously you plan, something is gonna go wrong. There's gonna be a mess. It's just sort of like expectedly unexpected. Like, it's unexpected because you don't know what's gonna go wrong, but at the same time, it's expected something is gonna go wrong. And so, you know, I find that this story could work with that premise rather well. Instead of something going wrong, the quote goes wrong is her getting her powers. And then another thing that really interests me about this story is the fact that she only has her powers while she's 15. So that's just 1 year, 365 days. Or 366 if it's a leap year, I guess. But for the most part, 365 days. So she's only going to be a hero for a year, you know. I really am interested in that, because there's stories about temporary heroes, sure, but I don't think there's ever been a story where it's focused around specifically one specific year, especially a year as important as the 15th birthday in Latin/Hispanic culture. I say slash because I know there's a proper term, but I don't know which one it is, so there's that. So this is a really interesting story, really great, and I don't know, I really like it. I'm going to go through it, see what it's all about. I would recommend it just off of the premise, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. And now, excuse me while I take another water break. Okay, so next here we have The Gamma Girls, also by Fanbase Press, and this is the last one by Fanbase Press. And so this one here is interesting because it also has a description on the back, so let me go ahead and read it so I pretend like I know what I'm talking about. After a gamma-irradiated electrical storm bombards the peaceful city of Brightstone, 3 teenagers awaken to discover they have gained extraordinary powers. Now Harriet, Kira, and Sue watch over Brightstone City as the incredible superstar team, the Gamma Girls. I am bad at doing my narration voice, and it makes it worse with the fact that I can't read well. So, Gamma Girls here is an interesting book, because, you know, it's these 3 girls, and the thing about them is, they like to play Dungeons and Dragons. They're D&D role players, and so, like, then they get superpowers, and so that alone is an interesting concept for me. Once again, the art looks really nice. I really like it. Random page to showcase the art style, I guess. So that's really nice. And then, I don't know, like, it just seems like an interesting premise. They seem like interesting characters. If I'm gonna take a wild guess and say this one right here, this one is gonna be my favorite, the one in red at the top. I think she's gonna be my favorite of the characters, just because I like her design the most. I know nothing about them, but I like her design the most. So, hopefully her design goes well with her character and everything works out. So that is the end of Fanbase Press. Next, we reach an interesting little duo. We have Monster Elementary, and its sequel, Monster Elementary and the Egyptian Curse. So these 2 books here, both by the same person, obviously since they're like sequels to each other. They are by Nicholas Doan. Doan? D-O-A-N. How do you pronounce that? I don't know. I'm not good with pronunciation. And this is an all-ages entertainment book. Now, one of the main reasons I picked this up is because I spent a good while, like about maybe 15 minutes talking with the writer of this book. And, you know, we just spent a while talking about what all ages really means. Because there's a common misconception that if you're going to make something all ages, you have to make it for kids. And if you're going to make it for kids, then you have to dumb it down, you have to spoon-feed information to the readers, you have to make it really simplistic, really basic. And that's not the case, you know. Kids are a lot smarter than they're often given credit for. They can understand things a lot more. And furthermore, if it's all ages, that means all ages. It should be enjoyable for adult readers too. You know, we as adult readers should be able to read this and get just as much entertainment as a child reader would. if you're really going to claim something as all ages, it should be for all ages, not just, oh, it's for kids. It's all ages, you know? So, it's an interesting premise. Monsters going to elementary with humans, I guess. It kind of reminds me of the Disney Junior show, Vampirina. My nephew really likes that show, so, you know, it kind of reminds me of that show somewhat, except not really, because in Vampirina, only a few people know she's a vampire, whereas in this book, everyone knows they're monsters. At least I think so, based on, like, what I've seen from here, I guess. So, that was interesting. I picked both of these up. They seem to be really humorous, really entertaining. I had a great time talking with the person, so, you know, I figured I'll give their books a try. They seem like great people. I really like where they're coming from with the whole all ages thing, so, you know, give it a try. We'll see how that is. Next 4 books are all in one series, and it's the Lady Mechanica series. So here is Volume 1. They're falling. Here is Volume 2. Here is Volume 3. And here is, I don't know if this is Volume 4 or a special, because it doesn't say Volume 4, but here's the last one. I think it's Volume 4. And so, all 4 of these books, I got them together. Again, really great deal. I got great deals on everything I bought, because cons are the place to go for book deals, especially with independent books. So Lady Mechanica, I was sold on this book right away just by the cover. Steampunk is awesome, and if you can incorporate steampunk well into your story, that makes you awesome. So I was sold right away just with the cover because I really freaking love steampunk. And the story seems interesting too. The story is like this person, Lady Mechanica, you know, one day she wakes up with no recollection of like who she is or how she got robot limbs, and she has to like uncover what happened to her and how she became Lady Mechanica. So it's an interesting story, interesting premise. There's a lot of steampunk in here. The art style, once again, is really just nice. I'm just really loving the art of these books. It's like, what they can do is really nice. Whether they go simplistic or they go, like, really abstract, it's all so nice. So, you know, it's great. It seems like it's going to be interesting. Steampunk is awesome, interesting premise, really nice art style. So, and I got a great deal. I got all 4 of these for basically the price of 1.5 of these. So that was amazing that I basically got 3 for free just by buying all of them together. So, great deal, great art, great incorporation of steampunk. Definitely going to read these. Definitely going to see what they're all about. And then, the last 2 books here. Here is The Not Forgotten. Now this is really interesting. It's an anthology story. Now typically, I don't like anthology stories. I don't like anthology stories because for me personally, I find that they're usually too short and you don't really get into them that much. You don't have a good time like getting to know the characters or the world. Like if it's a bunch of shorts, like how much are they going to be able to showcase before the story's over? So that's why I typically don't like anthologies, because they're usually too short and you don't have enough time to really like get involved and invested. But what made this stick out to me, and the reason I wanted to give it a try, is because if you see here on the top, which you can because there's a glare right there on the top, if you can read that, I'm going to read it now. The World's Best Public Domain Superhero Compendium. All of the stories in this book are public domain superheroes. Now, if you don't know what that is, basically that just means anyone can write a story about them. If something is in the public domain, it can be used without like needing licensing and rights and stuff. So like if I wanted to write a Superman story, I have to be licensed by DC in order to be able to sell it and profit off of it. It has to go through DC's licensing and I have to pay for them. And even more so if I want to write a story and I want to say, oh, my character is a big Superman fan, in order to use Superman, like the actual Superman, I need to pay for licensing and rights because I need to pay for the domain. But if this is but these are a public domain, it's free to use. Anyone can really like pick it up and use it, whatever. And so the reason I find this really interesting is because if all of these characters in this, all these stories, all of these worlds, everything in here is public domain, that means I could read a story in here. Let's say I read the 3rd story and I really fall in love with it. Then in turn, I can take these characters and write my own story about them, and I won't have to pay anyone anything. I'll just be able to do it and like make it my own. Take these characters and then do what I want with them. And so then people could read my story and fall in love with the characters, and since it's still public domain, they can take their own spin on it. And everyone gets to like share in this, and everyone gets to participate. And like it creates growth. It creates an environment where people can continue to work on things, continue expanding on things that they love without having to worry about licensing or rights. So that is just really amazing, and I love it. And now for a quick water break before our final book. The final book I have here is Jupiter Jet. Now, all of the books that I have in there, except for Tinseltown, I have not touched. I haven't read them at all. This one, however, I've already started reading, and I'm already fallen in love with it. Like, just insanely fallen in love with it. I love this book. And the reason I knew this was going to be the first book I was going to read was going to be because of the writers. The writers here, Jason Inman and Ashley Victoria Robinson. Now, the reason the writers are so important is because, being a convention, there were also panels to attend to. And the first panel I attended the first day, Saturday, was a panel, it was a debate panel about the strongest weapons in the comic universe. And so the main selling point was the Lantern Rings versus the Infinity Gauntlet, but then it sort of branched out into other comic weapons as well as non-comic weapons, and it was just a really great time. And they were two of the main hosts for that panel. And so it was a great panel. I really enjoyed it. It was a great way to start off the convention. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go check out the booth that they had, because they said they were going to be there at a booth selling their books. So I went there, I talked with them, we had a great talk. It was just a wonderful time. And I mean, I got to talk with all of the people that made these books. All of the books here, the people writing them were there, the people who worked on them. So it was great to sort of like, get to talk to them, get to find out the creative process behind making their book, get to like find out why they wrote the book the way they did, why they have like, as they were selling the book, they were also sort of like talking about themselves and talking about their experiences and books that they liked, comic stuff they like, and how they wanted to like incorporate that into their stories. Any tropes, any characteristic, anything like that. And it was just a really wonderful time. I really enjoyed it. And with this book specifically, I absolutely loved the both of them. It was just an amazing time being there, talking with them, having a great time. And then when they autographed it, they even personalized it to Ballin. I asked for that. They asked me my name, but I asked if they could just put it out to Ballin. I got all my stuff autographed to Ballin. Watch as that backfires in 10 years when I'm not doing this anymore. But it was just a great time, and I absolutely loved it. And so, I've been loving this book. This one also has a description on the back, but I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to do my faux narrator voice because I want to be real with this one. So, who is the Flying Girl? 16-year-old Jackie Johnson, inherits a jetpack with a mysterious power source. Along with her brother Chuck and their cat, she must protect her home from a threat that may just be from outer space. Collecting the first volume of Jupiter Jet by writers Jason Inman and Ashley Victoria Robinson and artist Ben Matsuya. It's a simple premise. It's simplistic, but it's really nice, and I love what they do with it. Reading this so far, I've been really enjoying it. The characters are wonderful. The world is simple but nice. There's nothing overly complicated. It's easy to follow along, but it's not too simple either. It has its intricacies. It has its complexities. It has things that makes it stand out, and I just absolutely love it. If there's going to be any book in this pile I'm going to recommend, it's going to be this one. Mostly because I've actually read it so far, but also because I just absolutely love it, and I love everything about it. So, that's been all the books I bought, and books were pretty much the only thing I bought. I didn't buy any artwork, even though there was a lot of really nice art, and that's mostly because of the fact that, I actually don't have anywhere to put art, and I didn't want the art to sort of go to waste. But my friend, Ernesto, better known on this channel as Your Boy Freshman, did go with me to this convention, because, I didn't want to go alone. So he did go with me, and he bought a bunch of art, so his art is going to be circulating in this corner over here. Ace, I think this is the right corner, I don't know, I think this is flipped on the camera. I'll just put it wherever my hand is right now. I don't know if this is left or right, I'm not going to say, because things are flipped, and I don't want to be wrong. But so, all of the artwork he bought is going to be circulating there, and then he also bought, 2 books, which I'm going to talk about briefly. The first one he bought was an interesting book, Penguins vs. Possums. It was also by Fanbase Press, the people that I got, Gamma Girls, Gwencest, and Superhero Hotel. I forget the actual name of that one. But it was also by them, Fanbase Press. So he bought that book, and I mean, the title says it all. Penguins or Possums? Who wins? Leave it down in the comments. And then the other book that he bought was Rikki Tikki Tavi. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because that's actually a really old story. I'm sure everyone knows that story. But it's reimagined as a graphic novel, and the benefit of it is they've also included it, they've included it as a graphic novel, and then they also have the original story in the back. So you can read the original story and then the graphic novel, or you can read the graphic novel and then the original story. It's just whatever you really want to. So that's a really great time. like, I'm probably going to ask him if I can borrow the book at some point. Just go sort of, like, go through it. So, he bought those 2 books, and I'm sure he's loving them. And then, again, a bunch of artwork that's just going to be circulating in this corner here. There were a lot of great artists at Comic-Con Revolution. I really liked it. Like, the art was wonderful. Maybe next year, if I have places to store art, I'll purchase some. It was actually, it was killing me because I saw this amazing, artwork and stuff for Spider-Gwen, and then there was also this really great stuff for Gwenpool. And so I can't pick. If it's between Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool, I just can't pick. It's betraying one of my Gwens. Because I have, over by my bed, I have this really nice little Gwenpool shrine. It's not an actual shrine, but that's what everyone calls it. It's like it's some pop figures, and then that's basically just pop figures. But I plan on putting more stuff there as I purchase more stuff. And then on the other side, that's at the back of my bed. And then like near the front of my bed, I have a bunch of Spider-Gwen stuff. And I even have a Spider-Gwen hoodie. So I really love Gwen. Both Spider and Pool. And Stacy. Stacy's cool too, I mean. So like I couldn't decide between Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool. And then, you know, like when we were leaving the convention, my friend Ernesto was like, "Oh, why didn't you just commission someone to get you both Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool?" And I hadn't considered that. I didn't think of commissioning someone to give me both of them. And then we just started joking about, "Oh, if they're together, what would you call that?" And then we came to the general consensus that would be called hashtag Gwencest. Yeah, I'd like to see that trending on someday. If we can ever get hashtag Gwencest to trend on Twitter, I'll do something. I don't know what. You guys name it. I'll do whatever you want if we can miraculously get hashtag Gwencest trending on Twitter. But I know that'll never happen, so I'm fine with making these outrageous demands. So, I guess to end things off, I'll showcase some of the things I got autographed. Here I had it open to the right page, but the book fell closed. So pardon me while I find it. Here it is. I got my Shadows of Valentia art book signed by the Voice of Silk, and I can't tell if you can see that or not because there's a glare. I think that's good. I don't know. I hurt myself stretching over to the camera. Man, my sleeves are like a mess from all of this stretching and stuff. But then again, I do have them rolled up a little bit because, again, it's really hot in here. Hence the 3 water breaks. I'm just going to edit those out, actually, in retrospect. So when I say water break, it's just going to cut to black. So, yeah, so I got that signed by Voice Actress for Silk. I talked with her for a while. That was great. Next, My Legend of Korra Blu-ray, signed by Greg Baldwin, a.k.a. Iroh. So, that was great. We spent a really good time, like, I think maybe 20 minutes just talking with him. He's a wonderful person. Really great to talk to him. Really great to get to know him. I took a picture with him. It was amazing. It was really nice, and I absolutely loved it. We talked both Atla and Korra and Samurai Jack and everything. He said extra thick like a bunch of times, but I mean, why wouldn't he? Because, you know, memes. So, it was really great. I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. And for all of you Legend of Korra haters out there, he likes it. So, I'm vindicated. I am officially vindicated. Is vindicated the right word? I'm going to use it anyways. And then the last thing I got autographed here was my Secret Hero Society book. I actually bought this at Target not too long ago because I read online that it was really good and I wanted to give it a chance. And it's good. It's humorous. And so I got that signed by the people who wrote it. See, there they are with their little doodles. Both author and artist. So that was nice to get this thing signed. It's a really good book, really humorous. It's a little entertaining story of, it's basically the superheroes, the Justice League, if they were, you know, kids together. So the Secret Hero Society and the Detention of Doom. It's a little interesting story. That is all I had to showcase. I guess the last thing I'll say is, there were a few other guests that I really liked talking with. Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. I went to the Batman panel, and that was amazing, getting to, like, talk to him and stuff. I didn't get him to sign anything, because I didn't have him to sign. I didn't have anything for him to sign, so I felt kind of bad about that, but I did get to talk with him for a while, and it was really great. There was a Power Rangers panel. Rita Repulsa, her actress, was there. Ron Wasserman, the composer for the theme song, was there, and then a Putty Patroller, he was there. Neo Edmond, that's his name, Neo Edmond. So they were there, and so, you know, I got to talk with them. It was a really great time, just talking with all of these people, getting to know them. There were some Overwatch people there that I talked with a bit. I didn't get any autographs because I forgot. I had an Overwatch art book that I could have gotten them signed, and I feel really dumb for forgetting that now, so mistake on my part. But if I'm gonna review this convention, I guess I have to end it off with a score for the convention. If anything, I'm gonna say this convention was great. It was a little small, but I mean, it's Ontario, and it's only the second year they're doing this, so I would expect it to be small. But on the one hand, I actually prefer smaller conventions because I'm claustrophobic, so I don't need 125 people in one little hallway, so in one little alley, just 105, 50 going this way, and then 60 going that way, and then those like 20 that are just standing there looking for their friends. I don't need that. I'm fine. I'm fine with there not being that many people, and I'm also fine with there not being many people because I didn't have to wait in any lines except for like a half-hour line to get in. But other than that, there were no lines for any of the panels or anything. There were no lines for autographs. So it was great. It was really great. I loved it. The panels were all really enjoyable. And that's pretty much all I have to say. So I don't know if all of his artwork has finished circulating over in this corner. If not, too bad. I'm cutting this video off. So that has been my review of Comic-Con Revolution. I'll probably go again next year. And I don't know what other cons I'm going to, but if you guys like this, I'll do this for every convention I go to. Just give a review. This is basically a vlog, but I call it a review of the convention, and then show off stuff that I bought. And maybe next time I'll have some hashtag Gwencest. Like I said, ever. Even if it's like 40 years from now when I'm in my 60s, if I see hashtag Gwencest trending on Twitter, I'll do one thing. Do you guys want me to? Anything. As long as it's not illegal. I'm not breaking the law for YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.